Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's Rabbi Stephen Epstein, Rav Shmuel ben Yehoshua, Rashbi in the house. Hope you're having had a great week, and you are going to be joining us for services. We'll have some news about that later on toward the end of the week, so stay tuned. Anyway, got to do shout-outs this week. Got to do shout-outs again for Alana and John Paul for accompanying me Friday night on the musical instruments. I'm sorry, Alana, I always forget whether you bring on your mandolin or your violin these days. You've been having your violin, and John Paul with the baglama. Hope you're all enjoying it. We like the idea of the music. The music enhances the spirituality. It's not meant to replace. It's not there to be a show. But think about it. Way back when in the ancient temples, the Levites used musical instruments to help spiritually inspire the masses. And when we come to a song like the most obvious example, the Sabbath song, with the music of the lute and the harp that it says in that psalm, Psalm 92, well, those were the instruments that they used to play that song. And that there's other psalms that they use that for as well. So it was a joyous occasion. Shabbat's a joyous occasion. Saturday morning, joyous occasion. Digging into the Torah, having some great conversations, how Torah relates to our lives today. That's what it's all about. It's not a relic. It's not something that we study like history. It's something that's living and breathing. It's part of our lives. So we want to get into that. And speaking of spiritually inspiring, we have to give a shout out for Saturday night. For those of you that were there at the sing-along, the Mamma Mia sing-along, it was a great time. For those of you that missed it, well, we're going to be doing Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again soon too. Shout out to Sherry Reeder, our New Ways and Means, for organizing it and making it great. Shout out to Tracy Nussbaum, who's our membership outreach person, for organizing, bringing our teenagers to help run the concession stand. We made a little bit of money. We had a big crowd. Especially shout out to our MCs, Lawrence Jalfon and Roger Cohen. You guys were great. You guys were great organizing it, getting people to come up and do some karaoke. It was a wonderful time. And that's what spirituality and that's what community, Clal Yisrael, is all about. The whole Israel community. That, funny enough, is what these last two portions are. Yes, two portions. This week we have a double portion, Matos and Masei. Masei Matos. It's the last two portions of the book of Numbers, and it brings Numbers to the close. Isn't it interesting how we've gotten to Deuteronomy already? That's the last book. In Deuteronomy, we're coming into Tisha B'Av. We have a new month this week, the month of Av. We have Tisha B'Av next week. The 9th of Av is on a Saturday, and when that happens, we observe it on a Sunday. That's what we do. You don't fast on a Saturday, right? On a Shabbat, it's a day for celebration. You don't fast for remembering sins or for mourning, that type of thing. So, Clal Yisrael, the community of Israel, we're going into the land. We're taking it. We're just right at the edge. Moses is about to give his last speech, his three final farewells, as he does in the book of Deuteronomy. They're approaching it. They're getting the army ready to go in and take the land of Canaan. And one of the first things that we have to deal with are the two tribes of Gad and Reuben. They're on the other side of the Jordan River, and they're like, gee, we like the pasture land here. And it's interesting because in the Sansina Chumash, Dr. Hertz talks about, that it was a little bit higher in elevation. It was a little bit more inland. You didn't get the hot winds. The ground was really fertile, not really for farming, but for grazing. It was perfect. And these two tribes saw that. They said, we want in. We want to stay here. And Moses said, well, now wait a minute. We're coming around here. We're going to start taking the land. Can we depend on it? And say, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll send the warriors, 1,000 warriors from each tribe right now. Just say the word, and here they are. And Moses said, okay, he agreed to it. And he went to the tribe of Manasseh, and he said, and I don't know how accurate it is, but this is the sense I get when I'm reading it. He looked and he said, maybe some of you Manassehnites can kind of also put your roots down here. Just keep an eye on these two. Because Reuben, let's face it, they were the tribe. They took part in the rebellion for Dathan, right? Way back a few portions in Numbers. So, just to keep them safe and sane and, keep them engaged. So actually, two of the clans, there were like 8 different clans in the tribe of Manasseh, and 2 of them decided to settle there. So they said, actually, it was like, they say 2.5 tribes. It wasn't really, it's more like 2.25. But those people settled there because they wanted, they were sheep herders, they were herders, and they wanted that land for their animals because they knew they would thrive. But they also committed, they said, hey, count us in, we're there. We're not going to leave you flat, we just want to settle here. And they left their families there to set up camp and to set up their housing and build some houses, and then off they went with the rest of the Israelites to, engage in the battles. Another problem we had, once again, Clal Yisrael, Community Israel, and going back to the tribe, now that we're mentioning Manasseh, that tribe of that's the same tribe. Yeah, Manasseh, that's right. Who was in the big tribe of Manasseh? The daughters of Zelophhad. Now, we had a conversation about that, a short conversation last Saturday about the daughters of Zelophhad. Now, these were 5 very righteous women. And if you remember, their father had, as they said, died of his own sins. Interesting situation, because if you remember, right before the portion where it discussed this, and the sages cut the portions right off, they said a man was out gathering wood. And he was taken to Moses, and he was warned, and he was told, and he persisted anyway. He did it in front of people, and his punishment was capital punishment. And the daughters are saying he died of his own sins. Now, it never mentions in the Torah the person's name who did that. In the Talmud, in the Tractate of Shabbat, one of the rabbis kind of outs him. He said, well, yeah, that was Zelophhad, of course. And the other rabbi said, whoa, what are you doing? The Torah keeps him anonymous for a good reason. Why are you outing him? That's kind of like Lashon Hara. That's like the evil speech. And probably the reason, as it's pretty evident, is because his daughters were so righteous. They were the ones that said, well, our father died without leaving any male heirs. What happens to his property? We'd like it. Now, that's an interesting point, because remember, we talk about equality. And this is a very big case. This is a very good case about, the Me Too movement. We were doing that 3,200 years ago, because God said, yeah, the daughters of Zelophhad speak true. They're what they're saying is righteous, and yes, the daughter should, if there's no male heirs, you shouldn't, the inheritance should not disperse to someone else. It should go down the line of the family. So yes, they get to have that inheritance. So we were doing the Me Too movement too, and think of the environment. In that environment, 3,200 years ago, were there any cases of a matriarchal society? No. Now, when I was a kid growing up in Long Island, we studied the Native Americans, and the big tribe on Long Island was the Iroquois. And the Iroquois were a matrilineal society. The woman ruled, because the men were going out, they were doing the hunting and the gathering, they would fight the wars, and, when you're fighting wars, what happens? Well, some people get killed, right? But the women were always staying home, bringing up the kids, doing the household chores. So it did make sense to them to be the ones that control the family. So is it here in this case. This is where the woman basically are in charge of the land. Now, this brings up an issue. Other than the fact that, once again, we Jews, sorry folks, a little bit of ethnocentrism, but we were ahead of our time by about 3,000 years, right? But what happens when the women get married to a man of another tribe? What happens to the property upon their demise? And this is a concern that the other clans in the tribe of Manasseh had. What do we do? And Moses consulted with Hashem, and Hashem said, okay, here's the deal. Okay, on the one hand, the good news is that the daughters get to inherit the land. I don't know if you want to call it bad news, but now your prospects for marriage are limited to that tribe, because we're going to keep the land in the tribe. We don't want to have the girls marry a guy from another tribe and they die, and what happens? The land passes out of the tribe of Manasseh. Because remember, even though everybody got their own little plot of land, it was still, kind of a tribal thing. So the land has to stay in the tribe, so unfortunately your prospects are fairly limited to members of your own tribe. Okay, that's, I'm sure there were some nice guys in the tribe, it wasn't bad, so there it was. Now, the Torah doesn't mention this, but think about it. So you're a man in a patrilineal society, you're inheriting land. If you're the firstborn, primogeniture, you get twice the portion that, everybody else gets. If there's 3 males, 3 male heirs, 3 sons, then the land is basically divided into 4 parts, and the oldest son gets 2 quarters, and the other sons get a quarter each. So you're an older son, and you're marrying one of the daughters of Zelophhad. That's quite a lot of territory you're getting. So you got to wonder if there was an opportunity there. So, okay. So, it's been a great 2 years, and that 2 years is coming to a close, and I'm in discussions now with the board about the next 2 years, and right now it's still a little up in the air, so all I can say, folks, is stay tuned. But what I want to say to all of you is that this has been one of the best experiences of my life, being your rabbi, ministering to you. It has been a positive experience for the most part. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed working with you. I know I'm talking like this is the end. I don't like to use the word hope. Hope to me is a 4-letter word. I believe in taking action rather than just letting my desires go to the wind, and I'm doing that. But I just want you to know that I'm really kind of looking forward to another 2 years and really building the synagogue up. And, well, again, stay tuned. But I love you all, and we'll see you soon.